Here we go again. Welcome to the Six for Sixers podcast. I'm your host, Creek Creek. Back at you again. Unfortunately, I do not have good news. During the game, I thought if they win, I'm going to go live. If they lose, I'm going to start writing. But going live is always easier than writing because you just stay up here for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and then you can get off and then call it a night. Upload to YouTube. Six for Sixers podcast in the building again. Uh, what are we doing? The Six for Sixers podcast. We break down the game in 6 points, sometimes more. I'm flying solo tonight. My brother John Jervy not going to be with me today. He might rejoin at another time. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook, then please drop a comment because you can actually add on to the points. Help us out a little bit. Sixers lost to the Brooklyn Nets 112 to 107. The game was in Brooklyn. Sixers were down a number of starters, as we always are. Most notably, most predictably, Joel Embiid and Covington, and then most notably Tyrese Maxey, who was having concussion-like symptoms from his injury in the last game where, he hit his head. So that was one that I did not really expect. Oh, DeAnthony Melton also out. So I don't really totally expect Max to be back this season even. Because he didn't look right when he came back after his back injury. And then he our own Gregory Brown said that he saw him on the bench, like laboring and asking for heat packs. So I don't know what's up with D Melt, but I hope he gets better soon and just really take all the time you need. No sense in rushing back. But then when I read the injury report, I was kind of shocked to see Maxey an injury report because Maxey came back last game, and I just guess I figured that Maxey was good. But sometimes after the fact, when you hit your head, you do have after effects to it, and maybe he felt something the next day, precautionary. And also, I think that organization or the coaching staff probably felt we could be competitive against Brooklyn without Maxey, which they're right, but it was too competitive because we lost another game. And we can't afford to lose too many more of these games here. Um, it's not looking good for us in the Eastern Conference. And I know Embiid is coming back soon, but it's we are, let me see where we are. We are we're still number 5, but then obviously in the Eastern Conference, when you get in that 5th place, you're only separated by a couple games before you could actually drop to like 8th or ninth place. So you drop 3, which we've been dropping games, more games than we won, and we're winning. We might end up down there with the Pacers, who are 34 and 28, and we are 35 and 25. So only a couple games separate us from those teams. We're coming off a 2-game win streak, which is good, but still not enough. So let's get into the game tonight. My 6 points. Just in summary, I felt that this was, like I always say, a winnable game. It was one that I felt that we gave up in the end, and I'll get into that in my 6 points. I felt that it was disappointing because through periods of the game, I felt like we dominated the Nets, and I felt like our defense was really clicking. But let's get into the 6 points because then in the summary, I'm touching on some of my 6 points. So let's start off with some positive. Point number one. And the honest thing was, I was hoping we'd get a win because there were more positives tonight than anything. There were enough positives for a winning report. So I have a lot of mixed positives. First positive, Kelly Oubre Jr., obviously, he had a monster game. He had the type of game that John Jervy was predicting he would have. John Jervy said, he sent me a text and said, well, you know I'm hyped because he calls a KO the knockout. KO in his eyes is that key to our wins and losses down the stretch of the season and is the X factor, as we call him, because teams aren't so much looking for him to go off and score 20 or 30 points. And tonight he had 30 points. And not only the 30 points was actually off the bench, which I like him playing off the bench. But he was 2 for 5 for three. He worked on that. After the last game, he was 1 for 7. And I was saying, you need to cut down on those. He was good from the free throw line, which sometimes he could be spotty from the free throw line. And then on his field goals, 11 for 20, 30 points. Great game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And so my first point is how great Kelly Oubre Jr. played. And he was not only with the scoring totals, he was just very aggressive going to the basket, had several dunks. He did what we were talking about last game, not just settling for the three-pointer, but actually going to the rim, using his frame. He has a long, wiry frame. He's able to get to the basket, and he did that tonight. It's a shame that they couldn't get the win when he played so well, but that falls on lack of contribution from other guys. So that's my point number one. What's up, Serge Benson in the house? Point number one, Serge, was Kelly Oubre Jr. just playing an all-around excellent game. I know you didn't catch the whole game, but Serge, I give you point number two since you mentioned it. He watched the last 6 minutes of the game, and really the last 6 minutes of the game, like 6 or 7 minutes, was when it was really lost. And I agree with you, the defense was horrible. And the crazy thing was the defense wasn't horrible the whole game. They had periods in the game where they played great defense, scrappy, getting their hands in the passing lanes. Mo Bamba blocked a shot. Batum had a big block. So they were actually defending really well. But then it happened in the last couple minutes. So it was lost in the last few minutes. Um and it was really the defensive effort. Point number two, defensive effort was bad at the end. And so that caused us to actually drop the game. So uh just getting to the point number three, and I'll put this on Nick Nurse and the coaching staff. Nick Nurse was man, he made a couple of mistakes toward the end of the game. Man, number one, he played small ball he played small ball, no center really. But then you had Claxton in there, and he's not a big guy, but Claxton is a athletic, wiry, tall, and there was nobody there to really contend with him. I feel like Reed matches up with Claxton really well, and really Mo Bamba does too. But toward the last few minutes of the game, neither one of them was in the game, and it caused that Claxton just caught. They couldn't do anything because Claxton was rebounding, dunking the ball, doing whatever he wanted to do. So I didn't feel like it was necessary to really play small like that in the last couple minutes of the game. I felt that that was that not a good move by Nurse. And then the other mistake that I felt in the end was we needed scoring and volume in the end, but Buddy Hield wasn't in the game. And I felt that if anybody gives you the best opportunity to score 3 point, hit a 3 pointer, we were down like 6 in the last minute of the game. That would be Buddy Hield. I felt like he was give us the best option. So um, I think that the coaching, also the defense was a little bit off. So I just didn't feel like the coaches were um, I don't know. I don't agree with the small ball thing when you have a guy like Claxton, when you can match him up with a guy like Reed. And then on that last play where Schroeder went with the left hand to the basket layup, why was Paul Reed guarding Schroeder? Like, what happened there? Schroeder went right past him. Easy layup to the basket. Very, very poorly defended play. And that play kind of put the game out. So as on point number 3 was there was some mistakes made by the coaching staff at the end of the game. I think that I don't know, they just kind of hoping they will pull it out in some form or fashion, and they didn't. Point number 4, um, Kyle Lowry is my point number 4, and that's a positive point. People have been saying on the Facebook page that Kyle Lowry has really been good for us. And Kyle Lowry is everything that we really needed at this time in a not just a point guard, but a leader on the floor, a leader off the floor. He has a championship pedigree, and he had all those things, leadership, all those intangibles, but he's actually bringing some tangibles to the team as well. I like the way he's playing. I think that he's excited to have the opportunity to play because in Miami he wasn't playing as much as he is here. And tonight, Kyle Lowry actually got to start 36 minutes, so he really played a complete game. Nurse is really pushing his body, but 14 total points and 14 points, 5 assists. Really good game by Lowry. Fouled out at the end, but throughout the game, Lowry does a great job controlling the offense. He's doesn't make a lot of turnovers. He's not turning the ball over a lot, and he really, really is a great, great floor general. And I will say, again, Pat Bev was my guy, but I like Lowry in terms of him as his point guard acumen is much higher than Pat Bev's was. Pat Bev is that scrapper, but Lowry does bring an element of leadership. So shout out to Pat Bev. I mean, shout out to Pat Bev, but we don't miss you, buddy. We gonna stick with we like Lowry better. So good game by Kyle Lowry in the loss, and again, upset that they got the loss because um he really, really played well. So point number 4, shout out to Kyle Lowry. Point number 5 was lack of bench scoring. We had no firepower off the bench. And let me read to you the bench numbers. I mean, and Kelly Oubre had 30, but I'm talking about the other guys. Batum, 2 points, 1 for 6. KJ Martin, 6 points. I guess that might be normal for him, but Paul Reed, only 5 points. Paul Reed, only 3 attempts. We need more from Paul Reed, at least 10 points. Paul Reed. Uh Yeah, it said no love for Pat Bev. Pat Bev start running his mouth. So I'm done with you, Pat Bev. He's gone to me. So Paul Reed and my combination that I call Mo Reed, which is Mo Bamba and Paul Reed, and me saying that the combination between the two of them need to equal about half of Embiid's output. So if Embiid's going to score 30, Mo Reed need to have at least 15 points, and Mo Reed came well short of that. 4 points for Bamba and 5 points for Reed. and that's ridiculous. 2 rebounds for Reed in 19 minutes. Come on, man. 3 rebounds for Bamba in 12 minutes. Come on, man. You guys are the tallest guys on the team. There's no excuse for you combining for 5 rebounds. So Mo Reed didn't do their job today, and Bamba had 5 attempts, and Reed only shot the ball 3 times. It's frustrating because said that could be point number 6. Claxton had more blocks than they did rebounds. That's ridiculous. Claxton ate them up today. Let me look at what Claxton did. Claxton 17 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. See, that's what I'm talking about. So now why do you play small ball when Claxton going off like that? And point number 6, I'm gonna give to you, William. Buddy Hield's floor spacing looks clogged. Maybe when Embiid comes back, he'll have more opportunities. Buddy Hield, he was 2 for 3 from 3-point, which is why I was upset. He wasn't in the game in the closing minutes. Why was he not in the game? I don't know. Well, we were down 6 points. So if we're down 6 points, you got a sniper like Buddy Hield on the bench. I just don't get that. I don't know. You got to make a space for him, and you're down 6 points with a minute left. But yeah, he doesn't look totally comfortable in the offense. So I don't know. He wasn't bad today though. He was 13 points, total field goals 3 for 9. That's not great, but 3-point shots 2 for 3, and a lot of that also I believe falls on coaching. That spacing and guys actually being in position to shoot falls on the coaching. And so Serge made a comment earlier that in the last couple of games, it does seem like that's been an issue. I don't know what's going on. Only thing I can chalk it up to is the amount of lineup changes, the amount of guys being injured, and just the maybe acquisition of different free agents, Buddy Hield, campaign, and picking up Kyle Lowry. I can imagine if you're coaching and you're trying to stay consistent with a rotation, I can I can see where that could be disrupting to your coaching style or whatever you're trying to do. You're still trying to figure out guys' strengths, still trying to figure out how guys move on the floor. So I'll give Nurse that excuse because Nurse has, in my opinion, been pretty good all season. He has really, really developed the team, I think. And I was a Doc Rivers fan, just to be transparent. But I think that Rivers, I like Nurse. I like Nurse in the way he's galvanized the team a little bit better than what Rivers did. I like Nurse's willingness to play a variety of guys, whereas Doc didn't give certain guys opportunities. So I'm giving Nick Nurse the benefit of that doubt that he's making mistakes. He may be just trying out different lineups. And coaches, they don't coach for one game or a week or, we get upset. I do every game we lose, especially a game like tonight where, we lost by 5 points and particularly lost the game in the fourth quarter. We got outscored 24-32 in the fourth quarter. So that's really where we lost the game. So yeah, I get upset, but if you think about a coach that's coaching for an entire season and they're really focusing on winning a championship, not just winning one game in Brooklyn, it is to their benefit to try out different lineups. That way, when it gets to crunch time, meaning the playoffs, that they already know who they have, what their personnel can do, and so forth. So that's what I think Nurse is doing. And yeah, I agree, Serge. He is a good coach. I like Doc, but I liked Doc Rivers because of his um just his long standing tenure in the league and just being a one of those elder coaches that brings that wisdom. But I like Nurse because Nurse has played a guy like Ricky Council the fourth never would have played with Doc and Tarquavion Smith and all those guys that are getting opportunities with Nurse. They never have seen the floor with Doc Rivers. So I do think it's and we've seen those guys play well in games. Speaking of which, Ricky Council the fourth didn't get in at all. I didn't understand that because I felt that against a team like the Nets, I felt there was a space for him. Um, I don't know. I mean, maybe because Tobias Harris is playing better now. Nurse is pretty much riding higher with Tobias. Tobias played 37 minutes tonight. So that may be the reason why Ricky Council the fourth didn't get in. Tobias Harris, I'm done with my 6 points, but let me just get into Tobias Harris since people have been really, really on Tobias. This really was his third straight pretty good game. 18 points, which is around his season average. 50% from the field, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. Pretty good game. Under the circumstances, Maxey is out, Embiid is out. We probably needed a little bit more. 30 from Kelly Oubre, probably needed about 25 to 30 from Harris to actually get a win because Reed and Bamba, they didn't really contribute a whole lot. And so probably needed a little bit more from him. But again, let's look at the starting lineup too. That was very interesting. Buddy Hield, Campaign, Kyle Lowry, and then Mo Bamba and Tobias Harris. So again, going back to my other point, it's pretty clear and obvious that Nurse is switching things up a little bit and just trying to see who's going to be able to do what. Um, and that's my 6 for 6. Anybody have any comments? Come in the comment section. I guess I go a little bit longer when I have my buddy Jervy to rock with. And he's absent today, but he's gonna probably be back on the next one. Um yeah, I agree with you, Willie or William. Willie. Sorry, I know a dude named Willie too. William, Toby did have a good game today, but this was a good game for Toby if like Embiid is there and Maxey's there and the whole start and all the players are there. Is we need more if Maxey's not there because Maxey accounts for maybe 25 to 30 points in the offense. So a normal 18-point night for Tobias is just not enough. We got more from Oubre Jr., but we need two people to really step up like that. And it really didn't get enough from Harris tonight, but definitely a good game. Just needed him a little bit more takeover in the end. And then also, like I said, in the end, we needed a 3-point sniper in the game. And our 3-point sniper was on the bench. So I don't know how y'all feel about that. Said I agree with that. Maxey finished the game last game, and well, didn't really see any repercussions, and then it doesn't make sense. The only thing I can think of is, and I've never had a concussion, so I try to stay out of areas where I've never had, that type of injury. I've never had a concussion, so I think maybe there was some after effects waking up the next day, headaches, some type of a migraine where they wanted to be take precautions with them. And that's all I can think of. And also, like I mentioned earlier, that against the Nets, they probably wanted to just try their hand at it. Hey, we can sit them out and we can still win because the Nets aren't that great of a team. And I think they tried their luck and they didn't succeed. The Nets are in 11th place. They're not very good this year. So that's that's the only thing I can think of. That's so Serge, that's a good question. Anybody going to the AI tribute? I won't make it. I don't live near Philly right now. I grew up near Philly, but I'm too far away to come out there for AI tribute. So I will be in Delaware on in the end of April though. So maybe I'll take in a game. If they're gonna be if they're playing on that weekend, I'll be in Delaware. So um anyway, that's the Six for Sixers podcast. I am your host, Creek Creek. Appreciate all the love and support. I don't want to hold anybody. I don't want my podcast to ever be like no hour long, 2 hours where we just straight talking about nothing. We talk about facts here. We break down the game from an analytical standpoint and a statistical standpoint. And then we just get out of Dodge, go to sleep, live to play another game. Let's see what we got coming up. And then I'm going to roll out. We got the Grizzlies tomorrow night. And that's a 7:30 game. We got the Grizzlies home game. So let's see what we can do. You know, we need that win. We need some wins because we keep dropping games. And that's the thing about tonight. I wish Maxey could have played and we could have got a win. That would have been 3 straight. But we can't drop too many games in that Eastern Conference because you drop 3 games, you're going to be in 9th place. And the play-in tournament, we don't want Embiid coming back and we're going to play. If we can hold steady at 5th place, when Embiid comes back, okay, then, you know, we're in pretty good position. But I think it's going to be tough for Embiid coming back to a play-in tournament. And then we got to scrape and fight and play, you know, the top-tier teams right there out the gate. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping we can beat Memphis. I think we can. They're not super great this year, and we're home, and hopefully we get Maxey back. Hopefully, you know, give that brother some Motrin or some Tylenol or some ibuprofens or whatever. Give him a couple of those. Don't give him too many. Give him a couple so that he could be better. Anyway, that's my 6 for Sixers point. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, please like, share, comment, subscribe. We do take these lives and put them on YouTube, but we also put there's additional content on YouTube that is when we don't go live. Please look forward to my Daryl Morey 6 for 6. It's coming up real soon. Daryl Morey 6 for 6. That will not be on the live. That will be on the YouTube page, and where I break down the 6 most pertinent points about Daryl Morey, our team president. I'm kind of have mixed emotions, but you'll see that. All right. If nothing else, peace, everybody. May see you tomorrow night. May not. Depends on how we feel. But definitely we'll recap the game on the YouTube either way. And if I recap the game, then if I recap the game on the YouTube, then I will also write about it on the Facebook page and post to the Facebook page. Yeah, Carrie's a huge Morey fan. I can't have Carrie on my Daryl Morey 6 for 6 because one day we might want Morey to come on the show, and we don't want him to look back at all my posts and think it's all negative. Definitely not all negative, but mixed review at this point. All right, everybody, 6 for 6. Everybody have a good night. Get a good night's sleep. Try to catch the game tomorrow night in its entirety. And then let me know if you want to if you think we should go live during the game or whatever. Also think about actually coming on the podcast. We need some community participation. You know, it makes it more fun, it makes it more interactive. All right, you can keep dropping comments, but I'm signing off here. 6 for 6 podcast. It's your brother, your host, Creek. And I'll check you on next game. Go Sixers still. We can't play the song, but go Sixers. Peace.